done a video earlier and my microphone wasn't working. So let me see if this is working. Okay, yeah, it's working. All right. Hi, welcome to my video. In this video, I'm going to talk about KDE 6.0 Release Candidate 1. And I'm going to say right now, KDE, I'm very impressed with this desktop environment. You guys are doing a really good job. Not really much change, or you might not notice a change much, but there is a little bit of some new changes. So when it comes to the latest KDE that's coming out in February next month, KDE 6, I noticed the panel. This looks nice. The floating panel, I like this. I gotta say, really good job. So when you go to edit mode, when you go to add widgets, it's a lot more nicer. It's more laid out good. That didn't really change much, but the edit mode looks a lot better. See, like you do have like a floating feature. You can change it translucent. You can just, change stuff around. Always visible. You can dodge windows, auto hide. I mean, they always have this sort of feature, but it's laid out really good with diagrams. So it's more understandable. I'm not saying like the older KDE, like KDE 5, it was not too bad, but yeah, this here is a lot better. Like it's more for people it's for anybody that's using KDE. It gives it a better way of understanding how to configure it better. New or even regular users that uses KDE, because even I use KDE a lot. It's just I always found I know how to configure it. It's just I find that it just seemed really cluttered and it just felt off. If you know what I mean. This looks more professional, as I can say. It looks good. Like anybody that's new or old users will understand this quite well, and I think that's the presentation of how to set up your panel and your desktop quite well. I gotta say, really good job on that. Cheers on that. Okay, now let me show you some other new features with KDE. Now, settings look the same, but the layout here is very, very good. And I like this a lot better. And I think KDE is doing a lot better things than Gnome right now. And I'm going to tell you why in a minute. So, you know how KDE 5 and the older Plasma, from 4 or 5, they always had a theme always right on top here for the most part. They change everything out. They put input, output. If I remember correctly, I think theme is all on top. This here is more on the bottom. They kind of just organize this a lot better. Plus, you think about it, you're going to settings. When you're going to the settings, you're thinking about your peripherals, your display, your sound, stuff like that, right? Configuring your desktop hardware, peripherals. Yeah, it's good to have that right out of the box, especially your peripherals. Smart. Sound, smart. Display, smart. I like that. That's a lot better than Gnome. Gnome's display is all the way at the bottom. They have everything for your input and output right on top. I love that. That's really, really nice layout. Very thought out, very good. Now the next layout, or next section, connected devices. Because most computers nowadays are heavily using Bluetooth, disk, camera, Thunderbolt, stuff like that. Yes, this is very smart. Printers. Yeah, I mean, I don't really personally use printers, but I see a lot of companies still use printers, which probably will fade away, maybe. It's interesting that we still see printers nowadays. People still print out stuff. It's pretty cool that we still have it nowadays. You know what I mean? It seems like very old technology, but we still highly use it. Maybe it's just habits, but it's interesting that we're still using printers nowadays. Wi-Fi, networking, like anything internet, online accounts. If you want to set that up, I didn't really check that out, but you can do stuff with that. That's cool. I don't really care for that, but it's cool that like you can do that if you like that kind of stuff. Then you have your theme and configuration. This is laid out pretty good. So you have all your stuff for your themes for your system. You can get global themes that sets up all the icons and everything for you, or you can just get things individually and just make your desktop exactly the way you want it to look like, the colors of it, the fonts of it, the wallpapers, all that stuff. Yeah, it's really well laid out. Default application notifications, window management. Yep. And activities, general behaviors, how you want. You can set a lot of things up with your thing. I keep everything default, but I'm just saying like security, lock-in, and recent files. So you can actually change that as well. Clear history. Forget everything, but do not remember. History forever. Keep history. No. Can you just take that off? Forever for all applications. Do not remember. Only specific application. Okay. I don't like this feature. But anyways, I wish you can just disable it, to be honest. But whatever. Apply. So here it shows like about your system. I find its layout's a lot nicer than Gnome as well. I like exactly how they lay out stuff. The reason why I'm using this in X11 is because it works okay with Wayland, but the thing is, it's a little glitched. I see, not as bad though as Gnome. Gnome was pretty bad. It works pretty good on KDE 6. I will say Wayland works really good with the NVIDIA drivers, proprietary NVIDIA drivers. Works pretty good. The reason why I'm using X11 right now is because the thing that I don't find it works well with OBS, it doesn't show the desktop or if I want to record a screen if I'm under Wayland. It does okay with Gnome, but with KDE, with Wayland, I notice it doesn't show anything. Anyways, it works fine with X11 display server. But anyways, I'm just gonna stay on the X11 display server. Anyways, it just works better with the NVIDIA proprietary drivers. So good on that. Energy saver, yeah, I don't want this. Do nothing after, cause dim, no, turn off screen after 10 minutes. No, I don't want none of that stuff. I'm glad I checked that out because I don't want that. Updates, yes. User, it's already has my user there. That's cool. Sessions, so you can add sessions and stuff like that. Like, cool. Yeah, laid out really well. Settings laid out pretty good. I know I kind of went a lot into detail with that. Now, when you have this here open, okay, let's say you maximize it, okay. You see the bar that was floating. It now stretches out and becomes solid with the screen ratio of like it just looks better. Like it stays float when it's like when things are not maximized, but when you maximize stuff, it just really keeps everything tight inside the screen. I like how the bar just fits with everything. It integrates it. That's really a nice touch. So yeah, that's great. And like when it's not maximized, I like the shadowing effects around the the window box. I mean they always have that, but it's just I noticed that it looks a lot better than it just looks more polished. And I like how the transition of the taskbar goes out of the floating mode, becomes a normal panel, fits in perfectly with the application window box. Yeah, This is a really cool feature. I like that. Little things, but I like it. And I like the floating panel. It looks really cool. I find that their new panel looks nice too as well. I'm not saying like in 5, Plasma 5 was bad. I just saying little improvement makes it really, like, it just makes a lot of difference. Now, before I end this video, I just want to show you another feature that I like. Okay, so when you go to the corner, okay, you want to add another desktop, you just click here, right? Add another virtual desktop. So when you add another virtual desktop, what's really cool about this is that when you go to the desktop, it will now show your workspace buttons. They are there, but if you only have one active virtual or one desktop open or one virtual desktop, it won't show it. But once you have more than one, it will show that. If you add another desktop, you know what I mean? I'll show that there. And what's really nice is because you can just switch back and forth easily. And I find this, like, the workspace widget looks a lot better than it did on the original or Plasma 5. This looks a little bit more polished. I think overall the panel, just the integration, like the overview looks really nice. You guys you can search for stuff, I guess. I don't know. Cool. You got a search feature, so you can search applications within the overview. That is really cool. So you can launch stuff. Yeah. You can just delete stuff like that as well. So when it's like, let's say like you have, okay, you can add another workspace. When you do add another workspace, you hit it again, you tap it again, and I'll give you an overview on 2 workspaces. I think that, okay, let's add another workspace, or virtual desktop. Yeah, it shows 3. Wonder how it looks like with 4. Okay, it shows like that. So it just shrinks it all. It'd be nice if it went like like, you know, like 4, like 2, like 1, 2, 3, 4, and then, you know what I mean? Like it, like when there's 2 side by side, and then you have like 1, 2, 3, 4. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Maybe let's add 5. Let's see how that looks like. So it just goes smaller. Okay. Maybe that just makes sense for bigger screens, probably. Cool. Just their design, I guess. So I like that a lot as well. So if anybody's wondering how to get KDE 6.0 release candidate 1 on, at least on Arch Linux, I'll tell you guys how to do that. So on Arch Linux, you just go your pacman configuration, you go sudo nano /etc pacman.conf, you type in your password, then yeah. So you don't really have to add, you don't need include extra testing, you don't need to have multi-level testing, or you don't need core testing. And what these do, the core testing and extra testing, what it does is just give you a slightly more up-to-date stuff with your package updates and kernel updates. It'd be pretty much similar to what Gentoo does with their rolling release. I do like, I keep it default. It's still pretty stable with testing, but personally I think like just keep it default. For the KDE stuff, you just have to add, you know, like this little bracket, KDE dash unstable bracket, and you just put include equals /etc pacman.d /mirrorless. You can do the same thing with Gnome as well. I have it commented out. But if you want to test out Gnome like unstable, you can do the exact same way. But I do it with KDE. And yeah, I just basically done that. Then you do sudo pacman -syy. And then you just do a sudo pacman -s plasma meta. And also I had to add console spectacle. If you guys like that screenshot program by KDE, it's not included with Meta for some odd reason. Same as console's not included for some odd reason. And also Dolphin. Your file manager, your terminal, and your screenshot program is not included with Plasma Meta. I don't know what Arch Linux people are doing when it comes to the repository, but why they're not there, I don't know. Maybe there's like a whole different package for all that stuff as well. But I just installed what I needed. So I needed console, spectacle, and Dolphin. I mean, I could use like GNOME terminal, but personally, I don't really need to. So I'm going to stick with KDE. I really like KDE a lot, but that's how I install it. It gave me the options in GDM. Give me the options to use Plasma in X11 or Wayland. So you can use either one of them, which is cool. What else? They're supposed to have updated Breeze icons, but I guess it's not coming out with the 6th release yet. But I guess they're going to make some new icons in the future for KDE. And if they do, I mean, they are doing it, but I mean, I just wish that they can add like distribution icons. So like, when you're using the default, KDE icons, it'd be nice to like like when you configure your your icons for your menu icon bar, like your menu icon, instead of having like the Plasma like logo, which makes sense because it is Plasma, but I'd rather just have like my distribution logo there. So like having like icons of the distribution inside their set of icons, because like their latest Breeze icons don't have any distribution icons, so I can't really set any icons unless I get a custom one, and put one myself. But it'd be nice that they would include it with their Breeze icons. That way, like you can just do that, choose, and then you just type distro or Arch or Debian or Fedora, or whatever system you're using. It'll just find it. Like with the icons that I have here, they do have distribution icons. Like if I type Fedora, there's Fedora. If I type Debian, you know what I mean? There's Debian, etc. So yeah, that'd be just an idea, But other than that, I really, really like KDE. Actually, quite like it a lot. And the reason why I like it over GNOME is the fact that it's more simplistic. It works a lot better, and they don't take features out. They actually give you a lot of options to customize your desktop out of the box. You don't need any extensions. Everything's built in with the system. It makes things a lot easier to configure out of the box. I like it because I don't have to add back my system tray. I think any distribution that's a desktop, any desktop environment should have a system tray. I have no idea why GNOME took that out, but I'm going to tell you one thing. I don't like that. Another thing I don't like about GNOME is that they took out the icons, like the desktop icons. Now, I don't understand why they done that. They're trying to modernize desktop, but they're removing features that people like a lot. When I said that I'm surprised we're still using printers? Yes, because people rely on it. I rely on a system tray. I rely on desktop icons. Desktop icons. I like to have my icons on the desktop. I know it's old school, but I don't have any icons on the desktop, but I will add some. Okay? And if I want icons on the desktop, KDE lets me do that. And also KDE lets me add widgets on my desktop as well. So that's pretty cool. I'm not sure about GNOME, but I never seen them have any widgets that you can add onto the desktop. So besides putting the back wallpaper, that's about it. But I don't hate GNOME, and I love GNOME. Believe me, I'm a big fan of GNOME. And for me to like be really impressed with KDE, like that really tells you something with KDE 6. I really like it. Yeah. I always like KDE, but I always found that it needs that extra polish. And KDE 6, yeah, it's really growing on me. I like it. Anyways, guys, have a good one. Cheers.